Hello, hello, and welcome to my stream. Again, I'll just be streaming for like 2 hours. Uh, I'll be keeping an eye on the chat to answer any questions for anybody that jumps in. Oh, hold on a sec. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Um, that way, I can, I guess, hold myself more accountable to making more of these videos. But yeah, this whole thing for me, it's pretty much documenting my journey of sculpting, and again, holding myself more accountable for, you know, sculpting, I guess, or getting better at sculpting. But um, but I did get a message about like reference and how to gather reference, or just like general ideas. Like, I wish I can give like a specific answer to that, but I think every project you work on is going to be different. But for me, whenever I do gather reference, I should do it here. Honestly, I just go on Pinterest, and there's a few ways that I kind of like think about it. Well, I'll show you two ways. So like one for likenesses and one for like general, at least human biped anatomy, just in general. You can look at like say like male anatomy reference. That's like the typical thing that people tend to go towards, and you'll get like all these generic, uh, you know, pictures of just generic anatomy, and this isn't bad because for me, I have a background in massage therapy, so I kind of think about muscles in terms of the insertions and origins. And I do remember most of the muscles, just not muscles for the face. We didn't really study that. But generally, sometimes, even for me, I just need reminders of like where they insert and or originate. And that definitely helps out, especially when you have more dynamic poses. But now, when it comes down to like getting muscles for when you're doing stuff like dynamic poses, say you do find reference like this that for some reason actually fits, or luckily fits the project that you are working on, that's awesome. But sometimes it's a little bit harder to find specific reference. So for me, you can look up specific workout routines. So like one thing you can think, okay, say if you want reference for lat workouts, and this also goes into like knowing what's what, like what muscles or what. Let's see, it'll tell you what your lats are. Okay, so these are videos, but let's see if I hit dumbbell row. It's probably two B's in there. Yeah. But now I'm getting all these like different workout routines. But the thing is, that's great about this is that like these are great because it's giving you the view of like what the muscle is doing and how it's supposed to look. But you can also find real pictures of people doing these actions, and you can get and again, like well, I didn't say this, but whenever you're looking into reference, you don't have to look at the entire piece. Like, say I know for my character, for example, well, no, this isn't good for me, but um, let's see. So maybe this, right? Like, I know that. I know that for this arm, it's going to be raised, and I know that these muscles are going to be doing the same exact action. So I can always look at this for an example of like how, or I can even flip it if I take this reference because this is a better angle in my opinion, and I can get like a good idea of like how those muscles. I'm actually going to take this as movements and use it. Um, and yeah, and you can get an idea of like how those muscles can look. But again, you can find a lot of, oh, is that M&M? Oh, it's not M&M. But you can find a lot of different kinds of poses, like workout routines that kind of fit, uh, you know, whatever range of motion the arm or the leg is doing. And I don't know, I think that's a really great way to do things or to get reference, because one thing I always think about whenever it comes down to like musculature is like antagonists and just like act. Well, the extension and flexion of muscles. Like so, like say like if okay, so for example, like for this, right? The action of the arm, or from like the humerus down to like the tibia, and I'm sorry, not the tibia, the oh my god, I'm forgetting the name. The radius and the ulna. Um, so right now this is extension of the arm. So when there's extension of the arm, the triceps are actually the ones that are doing the action. Like right now, I actually made them a bit smaller because I kind of want him to be like muscly for sure, but a little bit smaller. But the antagonist of the triceps is the biceps, and the biceps in this case would be stretching, and in this case the triceps are going to be the ones that are pulling the arm into extension. So these are going to be engaged, so that means you have to think about how that's going to look in general. Like in this case, it's going to be you know, the muscly fiber part of, you know, the triceps, that's going to be engaged, so it's going to be pulling. The same thing for like the deltoids. I mean, yeah, these are the deltoids. You're going to have like the posterior delts. That's probably going to have some action, but actually no, these are going to be stretching as well. There isn't really going to be too much action, because I know like the middle delts, that's going to be pulling up because the arm is medially. Well, I might be getting a little bit more into the massage therapy, but in the medical terms, the arm is medially rotated and adducting. So that means the middle delt and probably the anterior delt, which, because there's three muscles here on the deltoids, but the middle and anterior are going to be engaged. So these are probably going to be bulgy, and this back one is probably going to be a little bit more flat, like extended. Um, yeah, and then you kind of just like follow that with everything. Like I know because the arm is being pushed forward and extending forward, the scapula is also going to bend in order to adhere to its like, because there's something over here called the acromion process, and that's like where the spine of the scapula kind of connects with, along with like the clavicle. And so in order to like maintain this diamond shape at the top of the torso, the scapula is going to glide across the rib cage, because it's like one of the only muscles that does that. But muscles here, oh, I'm kind of like getting into a little bit of an anatomy exercise, but another muscle here is like the rhomboids, and the rhomboids are actually connected kind of like this, and it's connected to the spine. So, you know, another muscle group you'll probably see not exactly getting engaged, because it's extending. Flexion is when you're going to see that muscle moving a bit more, but this is extending, so you're probably going to see a bit more of that, like right here. And then of course you have the trapezoid, the traps, which there's an insertion. It's not really like an insertion, if I remember correctly, but right at the corner of the scapula, that's where they kind of like break and then connect to, I think it's like the spine of the scapula too, but also see, and this is where I because I haven't really studied this for such a long time. Like I generally know where things are, but this is also why I'm trying to hold myself accountable to sculpting a lot more, is so that I can really get back to the basics of understanding like where these muscles are actually inserting, because I like reference, but I also like to just get lost in the sculpt. But yeah, so I know that the origin of the traps is, I think it's like T7 to T1, and also it's T7 to T1, which is the thoracic. There's 12 spinal. There's 12 spinal thingy-majigs. I keep forgetting the names of these things, but there's 12 spinous processes that the different muscles of the back actually connect to. And there's a lot of like internal muscles that I don't think you have to really worry about as a sculptor. I mean, it'll definitely help you out, like with the shape of like how the muscles look. on the body, especially when they are flexing or even when they're stretching. Like in this case, the left lats, this is actually stretching or extending, whereas this one is flexing a bit more because, you know, the humerus is being pulled back, which I think is the humerus. In my case, I think it might be a bit too long. I think looks fine, but I don't know. It might be too long. But it actually inserts on the humerus. I'm forgetting the exact part, but it's like, I know you have the pecs is right underneath here as well, which is why you have like this little cut here, but the delts, they insert right in the middle of the humerus. Yeah, I think the humerus is a little too it's too long. And I'll move this as well. But yeah, the humerus, yeah, it was a little too long. And again, you know, the same thing as I said before, like right now, because it's flexion of the arm, the bicep is actually going to be doing a lot of the flexing, and the triceps are going to be flattening out. But anyways, let me get back to reference gathering, because there's like a few more things I wanted to go over. So another thing that you can look into is like yoga poses. I think this is a really great way to study gesture as well, because it's really pushing the body and really giving you, I mean, dance too. What's it called? Contemporary dance. This gives you really interesting and dynamic poses too, and of course, like, you'll be able to get reference for it too. But yeah, so yoga poses, contemporary dance, and just like general exercise regimens, like in general, a really good thing to do, like as an artist, as a sculptor, just as an artist in general, if your focus is anatomy, at least like human anatomy, a good thing you can do for yourself just in general is to work out. You know, because as you work out, you have to learn, you know, you have to learn how to hit certain muscles in your workout. And as you do that, you'll learn a lot more about anatomy. See, like I went to massage therapy school when I could have just tried to become a personal trainer, you know? But yeah, like it's really gonna help you out long term. At least like, and then this doesn't go for just like, oh, you want to sculpt a character that's like really muscular. It's definitely gonna help you out long term in terms of understanding how muscles are laid out, and you know what's engaged and what isn't and stuff. Another tidbit of advice too is just like, muscles are a lot flatter than, you know, than we think. When I was in massage therapy, they took us to a cadaver to like see bodies, and it was specifically so that we can learn more about musculature and just like how the muscles are actually laid out, you know, in the body and stuff. And for us, we saw like how everything is just so flat. Like think of like, oh, and you know, another thing that's like really cool to know too is not just like where the muscles are, but how. Actually, I think I have I have a reference that illustrates this too. Excuse me. But the more you learn about like the this is why it's important to know the origin and insertion, because it helps inform the direction that you'd be sculpting, right? Like say like for this one, the the vastus intermedius, even though it is inserting right here, and I think this part, I actually have to cut this right here. And my sculpting has gotten way more sloppy over the years, but it's fine. But like even though like this muscle, you're probably going to be sculpting it in this direction, right? If you really want to go a step above, you can sculpt in the direction of the actual fibers, like how they're actually formed. Because you can see here, there's like this is wow, all the words that just like were seared into my brain are just leaving it now. But there's a ligament. So this muscle, well, I think I said this in the last stream, but this muscle, it connects to the patella through a ligament. You know, oh, well, you can see it here actually. So this white stuff, this is the ligament that's connecting to the patella. The patella actually isn't even like, it's a floating muscle. I mean, a floating bone, kind of like the hyoid bone up here. Um, but it's not exactly, how do you put it? It's a bone, like it's just one little bone there, and it's connected through fibrous tissue. But anyways, so the fibrous tissue here kind of does have a direction, but it isn't exactly something that you can see. But just knowing, you know, how the muscles connect and stuff is already, it's gonna give you that edge for like creating more believable sculpts, at least if you want to go in that direction. But in general, it just helps a lot. And then again, also just knowing that muscles are, in real life, muscles are very flat. Just think of like salmon, for example. They're very flat. They're not very visible. Even like bodybuilders, whenever like do I have something with the bodybuilder? Let's see. Oh, so like even bodybuilders, like when you're seeing, actually no, that's not even as exaggerated as I all right, take this Daniel Bell sculpt, right? Like people can achieve this look, you know, like this realistically people can achieve this look, but people have to be super dehydrated for you to be able to see the muscles like that, for the skin to be that tight on the body. Generally, most people are like this. Like even if you work out, you're very healthy, you work out all the time, your body's gonna look like this. Like, you know, the muscles are there, but they're not as defined, you know. So, you know, it's just one thing to keep in mind if you, at least like if you're trying to go in the direction of realism. Like for me, I'm trying to go in the direction of like more cartoony, more comic booky. So that's why I'm doing my cuts so deep. But just in general, if you want things to be a bit more realistic, that's kind of like the direction that you would take. But anyway, so I am gonna stop talking. I am just gonna like listen to some music and just vibe out and just like start. Well, actually, you know what? Let me really quickly before I start sculpting. So with Bolt, my biggest issue is that, like, well, one, I want his feet to be seen because I'm gonna do like really cool designs. I actually already made a bunch of designs for them, and I'm gonna add that on there once I get the anatomy a lot better or worked out a bit more. But I want it to look like he's kind of like flying out of the smoke, you know, kind of like how Superman's doing here, but like also there's lightning, and the lightning is because he just said like Shazam, and now he's like flying out. And you know, I like this idea of him being like super happy about, like, you know, he just said Shazam, and you know, he's still a new hero because this is a new character, so or a fairly new character. So I kind of want to capture that in the sculpt. His face right now is pretty solemn or just, you know, straight, but I'm gonna work on that too. So anyways, yeah, I'll keep an eye on the chat, but I am just gonna get ready, get my workspace a bit more ready, so that I can get in this flow state over here. All right. Thank you, Nuno. Appreciate that. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this, because really what I want right now is to, oh wait, you know what? I don't know, should I project it and then maybe, you know what, let me try to project it. Let's see if that does something. I gotta work his, well, do I have to work his back? Might not really be seen too much, but let's see. Might have to add more mass or take away mass to his, oh, his deltoids over here are so big compared to like everywhere else. Actually, no, this should be pulling back. This should be a little bit flatter here. This should be bigger. At least like bulging here a bit more. Just a bit more. Now, just looking at both, like this one clearly looks a bit smaller. I'm gonna look at his biceps a bit more too. Well, anyways, let's go ahead and do 3. And all right, well, let's try this out. Let's see if this actually does something interesting. Let's and dynamic thickness, set negative. Whoa, okay, that's probably why. Let's go down to dynamic, turn it off, and delete hidden. Yeah, let's try it again. Yeah, alright, let's go on there. Let's just do a remesher 2. right. So I just saw the time, but um, yeah, I was spending the day. I think I got somewhere. I'm gonna keep pushing him. I think I just have to start to really adjust the sculpt in a way that like most of the muscles, or not even just the muscles, but the forms themselves kind of like uh, fit, kind of like puzzle pieces in a way. So like, say for example with this, like whatever line of separation is just a smooth transition into like other parts. Because right now I think it just still feels pretty muddy. Um, but a lot of that is because I'm kind of approaching it like I would if I were like sculpting almost in clay. Um, oh, I didn't even do anything over here. I have to adjust this too. But yeah, I'm liking the direction that he's going. He's a bit slimmer. I think his shoulder might be too big. I don't know. I'll keep adjusting him over time, but I gotta start on his neck soon too, though. So yeah, but I hope that you enjoyed the stream. Like, share, comment, all the things. Oh yeah, and even this, like I readjusted this. I am gonna have to separate it though, because um, yeah, I'm gonna separate it, but I did readjust it, so that's good. It's in a better place than it was before. Let's see. That's yeah. Now I'm just at the point where I just have to keep refining his muscles while I'm keeping those forms, adjusting connections, all types of stuff. Um, yeah, but yeah, I hope that you enjoyed the stream. Feel free to comment, or to check out my link tree on my page, to follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to answer any questions or to cover anything on the stream. Um, yeah, that's about it. All right, thank you, and good day or night, or whichever time you're listening to this. Anyways.